I'm excited to welcome Suzanne and Sly Rye from rock band, the Metal Byrds. They're joining me all the way from Austin, Texas. So It's my night, your day. Suzanne and Rye, welcome to my show.
Thank you for having us, Claire.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's so lovely to meet you both. Now, you guys, you've been going then since 2018?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what I want to know is how you kind of got together and formed the band.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's quite a long, interesting story. I moved to Texas about 5 years ago for my job. And one day the guys were going out to drink. And they were like, oh, come on with us. You know, I don't know anybody here. I'm like brand new. So I go out with them and they're leading me along this long, winding, dusty road in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, are you guys going to kill me or what's going on here? And all of a sudden it opens to this, I call it a ranch farm. And this barn, it's a farm. It's a ranch, whatever. And this barn, they open this barn door and there's Sly jamming out on his guitar and playing music, and everybody, like, there was a couple people there drinking, and I was like, okay, I can do this.
You know, I've arrived. Now I've arrived,
so
settling
this
in.
Is cool. I was like, thank God you guys are not going to kill me, right?
Well, there is that too.
It was
Texas Chainsaw Massacre looking out there with the mesquite trees and
I was like kind of weary about it. And then a couple beers in, they were like, oh, this girl can sing, and I was like, you guys don't really know me, but okay. And so Sly handed me a mic, and I was like, okay, I don't know what to sing. And he was like, hey, well, do you know like Sweet Child of Mine with Guns N' Roses? And I was like, yeah, I do. So he started playing and I started singing, and that was basically how we met. And then
the rest is history.
Yeah, after he was like, hey, you need to be in a band with me. And I was like, okay, I don't know you, but okay. Let's, it was something to do. And it just, we started off doing cover songs, playing like locally. And then one day, like he played me like an original song of his. And I was like, oh my God, that's wonderful. Like, we could do something with this. And he was like, really? What do you mean we can do something with this? And I was like, yeah, we can, like, get on radio with this. Like, there's a whole world out there. And he was like looking at me like, what are you talking about? And I was like, indie radio, we can actually do something with these songs. And so we started developing them a little bit more and recording them. And then they became something really special. And then
they are special.
We had our first EP, which was the Songbird, which was like coupled together some of his older songs that we refreshed up and made new and made ours. And
did you write the lyrics then to go with those, Suzanne, or were they already written, Sly? How did that work?
She said there's too many problems, and if I'm going to sing, I'm not a dude and I'm not a hillbilly.
Yeah.
So Suzanne went ahead and changed quite a few of them. Yes.
So you kind of made the lyrics your own.
Yeah, some of them were really bad, like really, really bad. And I was like, I can't sing this. Like, talking about picking up chicks, and like, I was like, no, I'm not. No, this has to change. So,
totally needed reworking.
Yes.
You seem to have a really good working relationship then. So you two are kind of the drivers behind the band. You've also got in your lineup, you've got Alex on drums and Kevin on bass.
Yes.
So do you guys all then get together quite often to write together, or is it mainly you two that kind of come up with the stuff and then go in and record together?
Well, it's mainly me and Rye that write all the songs. Kevin and him have been like high school, what middle school? I can't remember. What is it?
Yeah, so we've always played. So he's familiar with most of the riffs because we kind of cobble them together.
Yeah.
Sure. They went to school together, him and Kevin, and then we met Alex. And Alex, he kind of takes what we have, we do everything to a click track, and then he takes it
good.
and he's like, okay, this, and then like all of a sudden, like we have a song, and it's like, oh my God, like how do you even, I don't even know how Alex does it. He just like makes it so much bigger than what we had.
So Alex like, okay, makes the magic.
He does.
Fantastic.
It's fun, but we do get together. Lately, instead of going to the ranch, we've been going to Suzanne's house to record. So then all of us go there and we just sit there and crank out music.
Love it. I love that. And did you always have this vision of then how you would be? Because I'd say, because you've released 4 EPs now, haven't you? And would you say you have evolved in terms of your kind of style of performance and the style of music that you play?
Oh, I think that we definitely have evolved. We had a plan from the beginning that if we were to keep going with this, every album or everything that we put out has to be better than the last. So we try to make an effort to make it so much better than what we previously put out, so we've gotten better at sitting around talking about, okay, this is the plan for this album coming up. Like, this is what we want to do. This is how we want to sound. We want to be diverse in what we do because, this new album 4, it has, Spitfire Pete, which is completely like an Aussie, like maiden song. And then we go to Midnight with You, which is an acoustic, beachy, feel good vibe song. Right. So we still want a bit
of everything.
We do.
Yeah.
It has to be, Claire, it has to be classic rock because that's all we really know. When it's grind into you as little kids from your parents listening to it and then hearing it everywhere. And then by the time you're in high school, you hate everything that's new. So you end up going backwards, right? Style-wise, you're like, yeah, this is cooler.
Yeah.
Stuck, right?
So let's talk about your latest single because I do really love this, Little Lies.
Oh, yeah, Little Lies.
There's almost like this nod at the start to Sweet Child of Mine with the guitar riff. It's kind of got that about it. And I think, the song is great. And do tell me the story behind it. I'm really sorry to hear about what happened to your father, Suzanne.
Oh, yeah. So
to write about it. It's important, isn't it?
I really appreciate that. So at the beginning of last year, my mom and dad were in a car accident. My dad broke his neck, and he looked like he was getting better, and then all of a sudden he passed from it, and it really hit me really hard at the beginning of last year, and that was right at the beginning of COVID. It was like March of last year, so it was the beginning of like the whole world shutting down, and I really like kind of shut down myself. And Sly played this riff for me one day, over the phone. Of course, everything, was over the phone. Like he was at work one day and he played this, and I was like, immediately I saw the song that I wanted to write about, and I wanted to write something for my dad. So we started, putting little hooks in here and there, and the words just started coming out of me. And one day I called him and I was like, I have all the words. And he was like, what? I was like, I have the words for this song, and it's, in memory of my dad and the good times that we had, him telling me stories. He used to tell me tons of stories when I was a little girl growing up, going to bed, and I would always be like, one more story, and he would just make them up out of the blue, just, okay, one more. And then he would tell me, half of the stories, like I can't even remember, another half like are ingrained in me because he would just go into these elaborate details. So I just wanted to like write a song about the good times that we had, the memories and how I miss him. And, it's hard to say goodbye to someone you love. And a lot of people have lost someone over the last year. So it made sense to release this as a single to commemorate people who have lost somebody. Like,
and we've gotten some great positive feedback because people heard the lyrics and were like, nailed it. This reminds me of my grandpa. Hearing something like that outside of our circle, it's like, wow, we did this one right.
Yeah. It can be very therapeutic, can't it? To kind of have that shared experience.
Yeah, it unfortunately is a worldwide shared experience. So, people lost tons of family members over the last year and a half, and they're still losing people. And it's a hard time that we've gone through. And, I'm glad that we as a band could make something that people can relate to, so that's always the goal,
And it's a fun tune, right? From the conception with acoustic and then having Suzanne tell me, nope, to what we have now, we're really happy with how that one sounds.
Yeah. I know the first time we put it together and we were in my studio and Rye was at the computer and we were pressing play and I was standing by him and Kevin was on the other side and I just started bawling, right? When I heard everything put together and he looked over at me and he was like, "Oh my God, what is wrong? Like, what are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I was just crying, like tears were streaming out of my eyes." Cause I was like, this is such a good period song, not only because of the meaning behind it, but I was like, this is a beautiful song. This is great. This is before Alex put his drums to it, but just the basis of the song, I was like this, and they were like, "Oh my God, like what?" I don't know, as boys, no, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, no,
how do you deal with someone crying, a girl?
I was like, no, I'm fine.
Yes, it's really special, and you have a great vocal, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Kind of reminiscent of those sort of rock chicks of the time, the Pat Benatar, a bit of the Bangles there as well. I think that Susanna Hoffs kind of sound. Really.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, great rocky voice. And the name of the band then. So who came up with the name? I like the Y in it. I'm guessing because you're Suzanne Birdie. I was thinking, is that to do with, is that why the bird thing came? And then the Sly and the Rye, is that why there's the Y in it?
I know. Oh my God, I never thought of that.
Wow.
What?
Mind blow.
Wow. I never put those two together. I just figured all the cool bands have a Y in their name because, it's the vowel that never gets used. So... like all the cool bands put a Y. It's the rocking thing to do. So no, the name of the band came up. I work around airplanes and I love airplanes. And so that's what we named the it's a nickname for an airplane, is a metal bird. And when I came up with it and I presented it to the band, they were like, "Huh? Like, we don't get it." I was like, "But it has metal in it." So and then it kind of became, well, they're going to think that we're a metal band. And I was like, nah, they're not going to think that. And then some people do, but it really has to do with it was just cool. And then the Birdie.
You are a metal band.
we are. We're yeah. And then the Birdie, because my last name. And so we just added a couple Y's in there and we're cool, right?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Now, what have you got planned? Any tours lined up? Any gigs? What's happening on that front?
We're hoping next year. We want to play in the UK. Before pandemic showed up, we actually went to the UK stomping for support to get over there because Suzanne has, family in London. It was like, Oh, this is too cool. And y'all have better beer. When people say they're going to go see a show, they actually go and see a show, not like all the hillbillies around here. I think the UK public, the British public, y'all understand rock because, your music stations over there will play everything. You'll hear Maiden next to Eurythmics.
Yeah, have a bit of everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Right.
As long as it's good music, it doesn't matter what genre or style of music. That's what I always think. As long as it's good.
Yeah. Completely agreed. But we love
what? Say it, Sue.
No, I said we love the diversity of British music. British music is the best, in my opinion, hands down. Boom, done. Like, yeah.
Because of your British roots, you would say that. What is the scene like then in Texas?
It's very guitar oriented, whether it's country or blues. It's very guitar oriented.
Suppose you're not that far from sort of the home of country. You're not that far from Nashville, really, are you? In the grand scheme of things.
No,
but things.
Yeah, but they say Austin is the live music capital of the world. So there's a lot of, you get mixed rock with with a lot of country and a lot of blues and a lot of, that's so it's a very active music scene in Texas, but it's mostly live music, which has been completely decimated by COVID, which is unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, what a shame that everything just shut down. And people need their music, don't they? To feel alive, to feel good, to be connected. Yeah.
But that's the good thing about indie radio, because it just keeps going, right? It doesn't have to stop. Yeah.
It doesn't.
Every FM station, every indie station, every podcast, we're grateful. We can't, outside of my circle, I have to say it again, when Suzanne was saying, people would play these songs, we were thinking she's the biggest lunatic we've ever met. And then when you hear positive feedback or your songs are good and people really rally to you, it's mind blowing, Claire. It really is, because we come first and rock them out, and then Suzanne's like, nope, here we go.
Well, good for you, Suzanne, for keeping that going, and really truly believing in your talents that you have as a band. You have been described as a band that's meant to be heard, with the volume up, up, up. Terrifically catchy rock songs bordering on metal and brandishing a guitar-soaked high level of songwriting.
Yeah, that's all right there.
That's your guitars.
How do I get a copy of that speech?
I took that off your website. That's Buzz Music. That's what Buzz Music says.
From our website.
Checked out your website lately, have you, Rye?
I'm the one that manages it, so they're like, what? We have a website?
I'm gonna get a computer someday.
Rye's guitars are amazing. I from the first moment I walked in that barn and I heard him shredding up and down that guitar, I was immediately like, and I get that feeling every time he plays. It's just like, how do you do that?
Aww.
Like, I wish I could do that. I don't play guitar, but I wish I could play like him. He's
okay. Let's do a props on Suzanne. When she started singing "Sweet Child O' Mine," she did all the Axl parts. Everyone that was there that night was just staring. I mean, it was all those high parts. And then we were like, do you know Rocket Queen? Do you know any Pat Bennett? It's like, we'll just look them up. We will go with every classic rock. And it was like, oh, we're a classic rock band now. And she's like, I've got bigger ideas.
It'll be a bit of everything. Have you always played guitar then, Rye? Was that something you learned in school?
Yeah, all of our relatives and my parents were big record heads, right? So everybody in the family, and they're all spread out over time. My mother, the kids were born from late or early to late, and everybody else in the family we have a huge family. So as a little kid, like the biker relatives, for example, or my oldest brother, they're like Metallica, and then you've got the Journey, right? Then you got the AC/DC. So it was just constantly driven onto me,
sure. So all musos growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And did you always sing, Suzanne, when you were in school and growing up? Did you always want to be a singer in a band?
No, I never thought that I would be a singer in a band. Never. I grew up like in church, singing, in the choir, and in school I actually played instruments, and I enjoy singing. I never thought that I would ever be in a band until I walked into that barn one day and he was like, oh, we have to be in a band. And I was thinking, you are a lunatic. What are you talking about? Like, band singing? Like, and he was like, yeah, you can do it. And I was like, okay, if you have confidence in me, I'm going to have confidence in myself. And that's it. It just grew into a love of singing now. Like, I love doing it. And it's awesome. And it's fun. Who doesn't like to have fun? I love it. I love it.
Well, it is. Hopefully then soon you'll be able to get out there and be playing and performing to lots of crowds. So you've got 4 EPs out. You've got your first one, The Songbird, then followed by Birds on a Wire. So that on your website said got consideration for Best New Artist at the Grammys.
It did, yes. One of our very, very good friends who's a Grammy voting member, he put it up for Best New Artist? Yeah.
He's a good friend now. At the time, he said, "Oh, by the way, we got this email. It said we submitted you," and we were like, "No way."
I was like, what is this? It was like official Grammy, whatever. It was like, what is this? And he was like, oh yeah, I just put you up for, but we all know the Grammys are rigged, but it was really nice to have that. Somebody thought so highly of the songs, and especially Dark Highway, that it was even considered for like submission for the Grammys. And it was like, wow, that means a lot to us. That was like, what? Like, we knew we could never win, but it doesn't hurt
to have that kind of accolade there.
But it doesn't hurt dreaming.
Brilliant. And then followed that was Life in 20. So that was kind of, again, you sort of evolved as a band, you refined your sound a little bit more as well. Kind of bit more sort of different kind of album, rock sounds, and maybe a bit of softer rock and that kind of thing too. And then now, go on.
I think Life in 20 actually like took us to the next level in our evolution. It was a big step up from Birds on a Wire, as far as our sound and our development of the songs, and just our overall like comfortableness. That's not a word, but
I know what you mean. Like your comfort.
Our comfort level with like recording and actually being a studio band, because that was the height of pandemic and we couldn't go out, and so we were just like writing songs. We were just writing like crazy,
just getting really creative.
Our creativity came out on that album.
And then now the release of 4. So is that called 4 because it's your 4th EP? Yeah. Why not? Good. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense to me.
Why not?
And so Little Lies is out now. We can get hold of your stuff then on all the good platforms, really, can't we? So you're out on Spotify, Bandcamp, iTunes, Amazon, all over. All over the place.
All over YouTube. Everything.
You've got your channel, everything there. So that's brilliant. So people can get hold of you all over the world, can't they, to listen to your great classic rock sounds and your different sorts of the rock styles that you've got going on. Brilliant stuff. Well,
thank you, Claire.
It's been so good to have a chat with you, to meet you, to find out all about the beginnings, the hillbilly stories, how you guys got together and how you kind of met the others and evolved. And I do love Little Lies. I think it's brilliant.
Thank you.
All the songs that you've sent me in, I've played on my show. I've loved as well. I get behind you, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Claire. I hope you have a great one.
Claire, we want to play in Northampton.
Yes, well, you'll have to come over here, won't you? Yeah. I'll find a venue for you, some great venues here. So we'll book you in. We'll get you on a show near here very soon.
Thank you, Claire.
Thanks so much. See ya.